Hello all, Project Wargaming here with a video on how I paint 2mm cannon. So the way that I've modeled these is that you have the cannon in the front and then you have the limbers in the back. And then you actually have the individual crews kind of standing around the models themselves. So this is how I go through and paint my models. So starts off with ochre. I use ochre just for the overall the guns. They painted the gun carriages and the gun wheels and wooden parts kind of a green ochre color, so I find that that's easy to use. Other colors that I'm going to use, I'll have some Prussian blue on hand just in case I mess up and need to repaint a guy. I have some deep sky blue for Union pants. I have some flesh. Let's see. I have some gray. I have whatever browns you want to use for horses. The other browns that I have are English uniform for some wooden parts. And then I have this darker German camo, black brown, that I use for the base itself. And then as far as the guns go, I have a black for, parrot guns, and then I have gold for howitzers or whatever you want to do really there. So that's what I do. Let me get this kind of set up here so that I can hopefully start painting this up. All right, so I start off with the gun carriage first, and all I do is kind of slather on the ochre, make sure that I get all the way down to the bottom of the wheels, and then same thing with the caisson, limbers, all that here in the back. Again, making sure to slather it down all the way to the bottom of the carriage and stuff. I don't worry about painting inside the wheels because I'm going to put a wash over top of this. Next thing I'm going to do is come in with some of the sky blue. This gets a little tricky because you're trying to get the guy's pants. So you want to make sure to just drag it towards the bottom of the model itself. I don't worry about getting it on the base because I will go back over with that dark brown and make sure to get that. So it's a little tricky sometimes. You gotta go in between some of these models just to be able to get all the guys and all the way around the guys. These guys are in shell jackets, shell coats, so coats don't go down very long. All right, so that is that. Now I'm going to just hit a couple of these spots with some Prussian blue where I messed up and re-hit the back of that cannon where I got some blue, sky blue on it. All right, next thing I do is I actually come in with some of the browns that I'm going to use for the horses themselves. So all I do is kind of spread it all over the horse themselves, trying not to hit the guys beside it. And make sure that that goes all the way down. Come in with just a clean brush and try to clean that guy off. All right. I'm going to let that horse dry up. Next is to come in with a little bit of flesh. I don't really go in and try to paint a lot of these faces anymore. All I really try to do is kind of hit their hands. find that that tends to give me enough kind of detail that it makes him stand out. And then this guy back in the back is standing back here with some ordnance in his hand. And just drag across. You know, as you can see, it's pretty hard to see the faces on these guys. If you got one that you want to try to do, then you are more than welcome to do that yourself whenever you paint. All right. Next, I'm going to come in with some English brown for the saddles on these horses. And I'm just going to drag them across the back side, and then I'm going to hit the actual sides of the horses, just to drag that brown down a little bit more. And then I'm going to come with just a little bit of gray and just hit the saddlebags or the top of those saddles and go from there. All right. I'm also going to use a little bit of English brown to get this implement here. And that's really about it as far as colors go. This guy looks like he's modeled to be a parrot gun, so I'm going to come in with some black or a dark gray and hit the top of that model, making sure to hit the other one. All right, so that is really it as far as painting the actual models go. So now what I'm going to do is use a different brush, a bigger brush, and get some of the dark brown for the base itself. So this is actually easier than you think it is. All you got to do is make sure that your brush stays on, press down into the base itself, and just drag it around and hit the holes where it's going to be. You get a little bit of splash up onto the pants. I don't think that's that big of a deal. If you really mess up, you can obviously go back and fix it. A little more time consuming on these models because of having more nooks and crannies to actually fill in. So that is really it as far as the base goes. Now, the last thing that I do is I come in with Agrax Earthshade, or whatever shade you choose to use, and I slather it on there. And then that gets down into these other crevices here. It covers up some of your mistakes on the base, and it allows that to set in. You can see, especially on the wheels here, it really gets inside of those wheels, trucks and stuff like that, and does a nice job kind of popping those out. So anyways, that's how I paint up my Civil War Union cannons. Obviously Confederates, very similar process, but a little bit more involved just because of the different colors on some of their uniforms. Every once in a while I will also come in and paint one of the guys with a white shirt on or something like that, just to give it a little bit of difference. But that's it. We'll talk to you later.